What is happening, y'all? Cowboy here, and welcome to my guide on obtaining the Moonlight Greatsword in Elden Ring, or as it's now known, the Dark Moon Greatsword. Now, while the existence of this weapon shouldn't be a spoiler to anybody, considering it's been in literally every Souls game since the creation of them, the conditions to get this weapon are very spoilery. They involve a very long side quest that's quite intricate, it's very easy to miss, and it's definitely something you need to do, because this is one of the legendary armaments, so you need it if you were trying to get your Platinum Trophy. With all that being said, if you're okay with spoilers, we're going to jump on in. Now real fast, just to take a look at the weapon, as you can see, Moon Greatsword bestowed by a carrion queen upon her spouse to honor long-standing tradition, one of the legendary armaments. Ranni's sigil is a full moon, cold and leaden, and this sword is but a beam of its light. We still have the Moonlight Greatsword beam. One of the big changes is it now has frost buildup as well. Obviously very high int requirement there at 38, but otherwise pretty low. 16 strength, 11 dex. I have a faith build, so I can't even really use it. Otherwise, I would show off the Moonlight Greatsword ability. But honestly, I'm really glad about the inclusion of frost. It just adds a little bit extra on top, and frostbite's actually pretty potent in this game. But so anyway, to talk about the quest, we need to complete the full Ranni quest line to get access to this weapon, and it is a long one. So, the very first thing is actually all the way down here, back near the start of the game. We need to go over to the Church of Ella, and in particular, you need to come here after you've already obtained Torrent. So you get Torrent from the Gatefront Shrine. Where's it at? Right here. After you go to Gatefront, you meet Melina, and she gives you access to Torrent and the ability to level up. If you come back to this church during nighttime, you should meet Ranni right here. She'll be sitting right at this spot. She'll talk to you, and she is going to give you the Summoning Bell key item, and that's what allows you to use your summons in your playthrough. So that is step one. If you haven't talked to her there, I'm not even sure if the quest will trigger moving forward. But moving on from there, you're going to need to play through the game for quite a bit. You're going to need to get up to the second region. Over here, you're going to need to beat Renala, the second boss. And then after that, you're going to keep waking your way up north to the Carrion Manor. After you have fought through the Carrion Manor, you can get access to 3 towers here: Renna's Rise, Ranni's Rise, and Seluvis's Rise. In particular, you want to head on over to Ranni's Rise, and this is where the quest really begins. So you're going to go on into the Rise, you're going to make your way all the way up to the top, and there you are going to find Ranni, the same witch that gave you access to the Summoning Bell, which allows you to use your summons. And you're going to talk to her, and she's going to ask if you're willing to join her cause, talk about talking with the other NPCs are here, and obviously, of course, you're going to want to say yes. You know, as far as I know, that doesn't lock you out of anything else. This game does not have a Covenant-style system, so she'll be right here. Talk to her, and she is going to tell you to go ahead and help Blaith on his quest. Now, Blaith's quest involves trying to locate the ancient city of Nokron, and in particular, you're trying to get down there to get access to the weapon that was used to kill Godwyn, one of the first demigods, and that's basically, you know, kind of the events that led to the shattering of the Elden Ring and the wars and everything else. But so she wants that weapon that has the ability to kill a god. So you're going to head on down here. There'll be like a blacksmith dude you can talk to. There will be you'll find Blaith down here as well. And in particular, this place is actually kind of hidden. To get over there, to get to the road of the manor, just to show this, because this is tricky in and of itself. But there's some ruins that you saw on the map right there. And right here, this is actually going to be a false wall. So as you're running through these ruins, just walk up, smack the wall, that's going to open. There's your blacksmith. Right over here, of course, is going to be your grace site, and that's the route you're going to take to get up to the manor. But so to complete Blaith's side quest, it's actually pretty involved. We need to go and meet him down in, all the way down in the Mistwood. So all the way over here. This is the Mistwood, and we have the Siofra River well. And then we go down there, we fight our way through some stuff. Eventually we will reach the Siofra River bank. And it's pretty easy. Otherwise, anything that's like difficult, I'll show the exact route. But you know, you're just going to progress through this place, and then you'll get over to this area. You can't actually miss it. And there's a bunch of stuff going on in this area I would suggest doing as well, but none of that is actually tied to the quest. Now, Blaith is going to be right over there, pretty much at the top of my helmet, just kind of standing on that cliff. And you're going to talk to him, and he's going to mention how he can see the city, but he doesn't have any idea where it's at. Now from this point, he actually says that Celevis might know something, so you need to go back on top to Ranni's Rise, go over here to Celevis and talk to Celevis. Celevis is going to give you an introductory letter that you can use to speak to a sorceress. That sorceress being down here, a little bit off, right here at the Waypoint Ruins Cellar. After talking to the sorceress, she is going to mention that the way to Nokron is currently barred, and that what you have to do is defeat Radahn. So then, after you have beat Radahn, you will get a cutscene where you're going to see a star falling, and when you see that star fall, you can then head over to the Fort Height West, Grace, and go on. Yeah, it's like I said, it's pretty intricate to get this. So you head on over here after the star has fallen, and you'll see there is now a big hole in the ground. So from that hole, we can actually descend on down, and that will bring us to the Siofra River well depths and eventually Nokron, the Eternal City. Now then you're going to need to progress your way all the way through Nokron into the Night's Sacred Ground. And in the Night's Sacred Ground in particular, this is where you are going to find that key item that you have to give to Ranni. So you get all the way through this area, you get to the very end, there's going to be that blade in the chest. After you've obtained that blade, you then want to hop back on over to Ranni's Rise. Now you're going to go ahead and give her that item. One thing that's interesting I want to point out, she mentions that, you know, Blade should be down there. I never saw him down there, and then you actually get some dialogue that says, don't worry, he can take care of himself. So if you find Blade, that's great. I never found him, but you shouldn't need him to help you get through the area. In fact, I'm not even sure if he can help you get through the area. But so after that, you're going to come back, you're going to talk to Ranni. She's going to thank you for it, and it seemingly seems like the quest is done there, but there's actually a lot more. So after you have done that, and if nothing is progressing for whatever reason, I would suggest just resetting the world state. And what I mean by that is just rest out of grace, and that will essentially refresh the world state, and you'll be able to continue. From that point, we're going to run on over to Renna's Rise, which is over here. Now, initially when you get in this area, this tower should be blocked off and you can't proceed. But upon completing those events, you should be able to. So we're going to go on over to Renna's Rise. And when we head on up top, the now unlocked area, there will be a sending gate waiting for us, and that sending gate is going to send us to another underground zone that we're going to have to explore. I get all the way to the top, take this. And now we're at Ainsel River, Maine. Now, once you get over here, one thing you should notice is right around here on the ground is going to be an item you can pick up, and it is a small Ranni doll. It's literally a doll that you can interact with, and seemingly it doesn't seem like you can do anything with it. But if you take that doll and you go on over and you sit at a nearby grace, you will actually have an additional dialogue option. Right down here at the bottom, between like leave and altar garments, it'll say talk to doll. You're going to need to do it like 3 or 4 times, and eventually the doll is going to speak up. She's going to give you a little smart aleck remark about like, oh, do you talk to dolls a lot? But basically, it's Ranni just hiding as a doll, and this is where the quest chain continues. Now, before you continue on from this point, there's actually something else that you need to do, and you can either do it now or later, it doesn't matter, but we're going to talk about doing it now just to make progression a little bit smoother. After you complete Ranni's for the first big chunk of her quest, she gives you an item as a reward. That item is used to gain access to the Divine Tower of Liurnia. In particular, what you have to do is go to the study hall over here. You're going to place that item on the study hall. That's going to invert the entire study hall. Then you need to navigate down the study hall while it's upside down. That will lead you to the Liurnia Tower Bridge. You can cross on over to the Divine Tower, and then at the top of Divine Tower, you will get a item that's called it's like a key or an oath or something. But then you need to take that key. You're going to need to go back to the Raya Lucaria Grand Library, where you ended up beating Renala, and the key that you get from the top of that tower is going to be what unlocks this chest that is right here that is seemingly locked with no way to open it. Upon doing that, you should get the item that signifies like your promise to Ranni. It's a ring. So you're going to need to get that. That is the oath. As long as you have that, it makes it a lot easier to proceed through where we are going next. So where are we at? Where did I get? Yeah, I got teleported to Ainsel River Main, I believe. There. Well, anyway, back down in the Ainsel River, you're going to need to fight your way on through this area. You're going to take out some stuff. Eventually, where's it at? Ainsel River downstream. Should be right here, the waterfall basin. So Ranni is going to talk about how basically you're down here to effectively kill an assassin. And that assassin is between the Noxtella waterfall basin and the Lake of Rot on shoreside. So I would suggest obviously exploring everything you can in this zone while you're down here. But once you get to this portion, go ahead and just proceed on over this way. Watch out for those instant death dudes. And pretty much as soon as you're passing on through, you should have an invasion that triggers and a dude that you're going to fight. Now this dude is basically a invader version of Blaith. Upon killing him, Ranni's going to thank you. Once again, it seems like the quest may in fact be done, but it is not. There is even more that you're going to have to do. So then we are going to proceed along this way into the Lake of Rot. Gonna take the elevator on down, and this area is really fun. You'll have a lot of joy going through this. But this is the Lake of Rot. Now, once we get to the Lake of Rot, you can just fight your way through this. There is a boss. Eventually, you're going to make it on over to the Grand Cloister. This is the area that is kind of at the end of the Lake of Rot, and this is where we need to get to in particular. So once you're at the Grand Cloister, you're going to need to make your way down. Really hoping nothing attacks me, because I do not have the stats to actually use this sword. I would suggest going in there. There's some items you get, but in particular, what you need to do is head on over to this coffin that is over here on the ground. So head on over to the coffin, hit the button to rest. You will then climb inside the coffin, and it's going to transport you. Coffin is going to wash on up, and you'll now be at another underground location. And in particular, this area is only accessible via this, so it's kind of like a little standalone zone that you can get over to. We have a stake of Marika right here in case you die, and there's going to be a boss fog. So, as you proceed on in, now you need to fight Astel of the Voidborn, which is a trophy boss. After you take him on out, or Natural Born of the Void. Got his name a little mixed up there, but same difference. Pretty crazy fight, lots of different AoEs and stuff that you're going to need to look out for. But after you take him out, you can then proceed in this direction. Now, if you have not gotten the Oath Ring from that chest where Rennala is at, there's just going to be a gate here. And it's going to be like, you know, only those sworn to oath can pass. So that is what the ring is for. I originally came here first before I had that ring and was super confused. Forgot about it for quite a while until I came back. So get that ring, and then you can go on over here. You can take this elevator up, and this will finally get you up top to this little upper area in Liurnia that is seemingly inaccessible. I hunted for so long trying to figure out how to get up to this place, but it is part of this quest. So once you get up top, here we are at Moonlight Altar. We then need to run on over to the Cathedral of Manicelis. And there's a couple different glintstone dragons around here. The one glintstone dragon that you'll have fought all the way back at Ranni's Rise, that if you tried to kill, ends up just dipping out. He's here and you can finish the fight, take him on down. That gets you the tier 2 magic dragon breath as well, so a nice little upgrade there. But then we're going to ride on up into this place. And there's a bunch of stuff to do here. There's a memory tower you can do. There's a couple ruins you can do. But this is the big thing you want. And while you're here, there's actually a ton of starlight shards that you can get to trade in for Celavis's items. I want to put this on as a starlight shard that I missed. But once you're over here, you head on down. Oh no, I'm dead. That's okay. You gotta head on down into that hole, which we'll do in just a moment after respawning. I like how I made it past all of the enemies of the video, despite the fact that I had an unusable weapon. But then I die to gravity. The greatest enemy in any Souls game. Good old gravity. Alright, let's try that again. See, this is why you always want to have your lantern on, so you can see better into the hole before you drop. Alright, and then once you get down to the bottom, run along the path. There's no more combat at this point. You are in the clear. And here, by these three fingers, you will find a doll of Ranni that is sitting. You will put the ring on her finger. You will get some dialogue. She will vanish. And then laying right here in this little puddle of goop will be the Dark Moon Greatsword. So yeah, quite an intricate quest. And there's a lot of different steps that you either may think that you're done early, or, you know, like I said, I thought that, you know, once I turned in the quest that I was done. I didn't even realize I had to go to the other tower and get teleported and go through all that. And then there's the whole ring portion of it. So a very, very easy quest to get lost in and end up missing steps. But this is definitely a weapon that I can't wait to use on my intelligence-based playthrough. I mean, it's an iconic weapon. And like I said, the fact that it now has frostbite is something that I think is super awesome. Now, I don't know if I mentioned at the start of the video, and I'm not 100% on this. This is just my own theory. But between the Astral of the Voidborn and some other stuff, you know, the moon references, I think completing this side quest may actually be tied to the Age of Stars ending. My initial playthrough, I went for the Lord of Frenzy ending, so I was locked into that, you know, even after getting every single demigod down and doing this whole side quest, it still only gave me the option to become the Lord of Frenzy. So I'm sure the details surrounding that ending are still being discovered, but given how intricate this side quest is and the fact that third endings are usually very heavily based around like extra content, I have a pretty strong feeling it's somehow tied in to the Age of Stars ending. But that is a video for a different time. Regardless, you should now have your Dark Moon Greatsword. Go on out there, slaughter things with it, and have a great time in Elden Ring.